What's good, everybody? It's the Clown with Cap Show. NFL Week 2, some big games. Shout out to the freaking Indianapolis Colts. They're finally going to get their first win at Houston, the trash Houston Texans. But really some devastating news. Aaron Rodgers, the great quarterback that he is, what a career he's had. Torn Achilles, he's out for the season. And a lot of people are saying, you know what? Aaron Rodgers is done. That's it. He's over with, which pump the brakes. Aaron Rodgers signed a 2-year deal this offseason. Aaron Rodgers will be back next year. Mark my words. Aaron Rodgers will be back next year, even though I do think it's his last year in the NFL. A lot of people are saying set off to the sunset, retire, which I don't think that's really a smart idea. I think if Aaron Rodgers wants to win another Super Bowl, wants to be a 2-time Super Bowl champion, he's got to come back next year after this. I mean, it's devastating. The forced snap in his first game with the New York Jets, dude, home game, torn Achilles, dude, this is a nightmare. When it first happened, I didn't even see it live. My homie Overfield called me, was like, yo, Cap, Aaron Rodgers is out for the season, torn Achilles. They didn't even announce it yet. He could just tell it was an Achilles, and I thought it was all Cap. I really did. I called Cap on it. Even though my name's Cap, I was calling Cap. I was like, no way. And then it really happened. So I think for Aaron Rodgers, really back to the basics. But for the New York Jets this year, they're not going to win a Super Bowl. Now, could there be a Cinderella team and go to the playoffs and run deep this year? Absolutely. Even though a lot of people are writing off Zach Wilson and saying he can't do it, I really think the Jets have a great running game and they have a great defense. So I think that's the difference right there. But obviously, Zach Wilson is not the quarterback to lead you to the Super Bowl. That's what they needed. They needed a guy like Aaron Rodgers. They needed a leader in the locker room. That's what they needed, but they didn't get that. So I think for Aaron Rodgers, it's devastating. He will be back, and a lot of people are saying he's done for. That's it. And I always compare to the Peyton Manning. Peyton Manning got hurt, a spinal injury. He came back for 3 seasons. His last season, he won a Super Bowl in Denver, dude. So against all odds, never give up. And I understand Aaron Rodgers is 38, 39. By the time he gets back on the field, he'll be late 39, almost 40. And I understand Aaron Rodgers thinks it is almost the end. But he will be back with the New York Jets, and I think the Jets should very, very well be patient with Aaron and say, hey, we understand you're going to be out this year, but next year we need you. All it takes is one hit in the NFL, not just for Aaron Rodgers or Tua, any type of player in the NFL right now. You're one hit away from a career-ending injury. That's the risk you take of being in the NFL. So, people are like, oh, he's injury-prone, which is true. There's some players that aren't really that injury-prone as much, but still, you're one hit away from that's it, season over. So, prayers up to Aaron Rodgers, and I feel so bad for New York Jet fans, dude. That's it. Your season is over this year, New York Jets. Even though you guys won on Monday night, it's kind of a fluke. Josh Allen, 3 picks and a fumble. It was for the Jets, but Aaron Rodgers, get well soon. Next year, maybe next year. Who knows about that? And then we got the Thursday night football game, the Minnesota Vikings at Philly. Philly's a 7-point favorites. Look, Philadelphia, they're legit. They have a better defense than last year. I think with Jalen Hurts, 1 touchdown this year, I think he's really going to amp up his game even more. I thought Jalen Hurts should have been the player to be on the Madden cover. No disrespect to Josh Allen. He's a heck of a player. He's a dog, absolutely. But I just, looking at it from last year, was just dude, Jalen Hurts led the Eagles to the Super Bowl, really was a couple plays away. It was just, I thought Jalen Hurts should have been on the cover, but that's just my opinion. But Jalen Hurts will have a better season this year than he did last year. I'm telling you what, Jalen Hurts is going to take off. And then we got, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith. I'm telling you, they're going to run through the Minnesota Vikings. Now, Minnesota, as long as they have Kirk Cousins at quarterback, you guys are just going to be an average team at best. So Justin Jefferson at the end of the year is going to request a trade and say, hey, I want out of here, or I want a better quarterback. I don't believe in Kirk Cousins either, dude. What's he done, dude? I'm telling you, besides beat Michigan when he was at Michigan State, what has Kirk Cousins done in the NFL that was so great or so significant? Oh, he came back from the Colts last year down 30 plus. Dude, come on, dude. He hasn't won a Super Bowl, hasn't even been to the big game yet. So I think Kirk Cousins, this is make or break year, just like it was last year and the year before that. So there's nothing else to prove. Kirk Cousins is an average quarterback. That's what it is. But, could an upset alert happen? Absolutely. Because of Justin Jefferson. He's the X factor for Minnesota moving forward. Are they going to double Justin Jefferson? If I'm the Eagles, absolutely. And I'm putting pressure on Kirk Cousins every single play. That's what you got to do. You have to put pressure on him, but you know what? I want to see Minnesota with the upset. I really do, but you know what? I'm going to go Philly here. I'll take the 7 points, even though I think this game is going to be very close. I think it's going to be so close that I would tell you to go money line Philly. Go money line Philly, because I think it's going to be like a field goal difference in this game, but I'm still going to go Eagles. 49 is the over-under. I probably lean more towards the under right now. You know, whereas last week with the Eagles, they kind of didn't score that many, only 25. I'm expecting Philly and Jalen Hurts to put up 35 plus a game. That's how great Jalen Hurts is in that offense with A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith. Like, put up big numbers. So I'm going to go with the under. I'll go under 40, 49, but I'm going Philly. I'll take the 7, even though money line makes more sense to me. But I like Philadelphia over the Minnesota Vikings at home on Thursday Night Football. That makes sense to me. So I'm going to go Philly. And then we got my Indianapolis Colts versus the Houston Texans. Colts are 1-point favorites, which they should be. I'm going to go Colts here. You know, and I understand that I'm a diehard Colts fan, and I'm going to go Colts here, and it's because of Anthony Richardson. Anthony Richardson is going to outplay C.J. Stroud. That's what he's going to do. He's going to put up bigger numbers. He's going to run for more yards. He's going to throw better passes. So I think Anthony Richardson is due for a 3-touchdown game, maybe even a rushing touchdown as well. You know, I expect Michael Pittman Jr. to have a big game for the Colts. You know, I expect the Colts defense to put pressure on C.J. Stroud. That's what you have to do. He's a rookie in the league, fresh in the league, out of Ohio State. A lot of these guys have a lot of hype. He's the number 2 overall pick. I want you to put pressure on him. That's the goal here. If I'm Indianapolis Colts and I'm their head coach, I'm saying the X factor here is put pressure on C.J. Stroud. I don't care how we do on offense. I don't care if Anthony Richardson throws for 2 picks and only a touchdown. We got to put pressure on C.J. Stroud. That's how we're going to win the game. So I'm going to go Colts. I'll take the 1 point. 40 is the over-under. I probably go with the over here. I expect Anthony Richardson and the Colts put up some big numbers, have a big game. You're playing in Houston. Houston, one of the worst teams in the NFL. So the Colts, if you're legit, you're going to step up here and run through Houston. That's what you're going to do, and it starts with Anthony Richardson. So my Indianapolis Colts are going to win by over 1. I'll take that, and I'll take the over. I'll take the 40 over. Go Indianapolis Colts, baby. Let's go. And then we got the Chicago Bears versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Bears last week looked terrible. They look absolutely terrible. And Justin Fields, this is his make or break year. You know, if Justin Fields has a shitty year, you can bet the Chicago Bears are going to release Justin Fields and they're going to draft a younger quarterback, or they're going to trade for somebody, because they're just not they're not that patient anymore. I mean, we look at the Chicago Bears since the early 2000s, dude. They've been through so many quarterbacks. You know, Rex Grossman, for example, like, dude, he was the Indiana guy, but really, Rex Grossman, dude, he led you guys to the Super Bowl, and my Indianapolis Colts ran through him. Bob Sanders should have been MVP of that Super Bowl, by the way. But anyway, you know, I'm going to go Tampa Bay here. I think Tampa Bay, I'll take the 3 points. Baker Mayfield looked nice last weekend. 2 touchdowns. You got Mike Evans. He had a touchdown last weekend. You got Devin White. He's on my fantasy squad, a great linebacker, 8 solo tackles. So I think for Tampa Bay right now, you got it. You should put pressure on Justin Fields. You force him to do decisions that he doesn't want to do. That's how you beat the Bears. And the Bears really have a subpar defense as well. So I think Baker Mayfield should have a heyday against the Chicago Bears. That's why I'm betting against them. But I do think the Chicago Bears, the X factor here isn't Justin Fields. It's DJ Moore. The receiver, DJ Moore, that they got from Carolina, I think he's the X factor here. He's due for a big game, and I expect DJ Moore to have over 100 yards receiving this game and a touchdown, maybe two tutties. But I'm still going to go the Tampa Bay Buccaneers over the trash Chicago Bears. 41.5 is the over-under. That's tough. I'll probably go with the under, but I still like the Bucs at home over the Bears. And then we got the Las Vegas Raiders versus the Buffalo Bills. Bills are 9.5-point favorites. Look, we looked at the Bills last week, and we're like, oh, my gosh. You know, we looked at Josh Allen, 3 picks, a fumble. Just Josh Allen did not look good. You know, is the Madden curse real? We pray it's not. But I expect Josh Allen to have a big game, a bounce-back game, realizing his mistakes. Some of Josh Allen's big mistakes since he got in the NFL was just throwing in double coverage, throwing dumb balls where it's like, dude, you shouldn't even be throwing balls like that. Even like 50, 60-yard bombs where it's just like, dude, like, double coverage too on the 60-yard bombs. And I'm just like, Josh, dude, this isn't, college anymore. You're not going against, the weak college D1 schools anymore, dude. We're talking top-notch pros here. So I think Josh Allen has to grow over that hump. He's got to get over become more disciplined in the pocket, dude. If something's not there, run out and slide. Josh Allen is not the type of quarterback to slide, dude. I saw it on the Monday night game where Josh Allen's trying to hurdle linebackers and stuff. And I'm just like, dude, eventually those hits are going to start to catch up with you. Maybe not this season, next season, or 4 or 5 years. But if you're in the league over 10 years, it's going to start to catch up with you, dude. That 10, 11 years, you just don't move as good. You feel the hits more. So I think Josh Allen's got to be a lot smarter, running and throwing the ball. So discipline as well, But Stephon Diggs, one of the best receivers in the league, over 100 yards receiving last game and a touchdown, did his thing. But for the Raiders, Jimmy G's a consistent quarterback, but he's average at best. He's an average QB. But I expect Josh Jacobs, who I drafted on my fantasy squad, expect him to have a big rushing game against the Bills. The Bills really don't have that good of a defense. But I'm looking at Josh Allen and realizing, look, dude, you got to overcome these dumb mental mistakes here. But I'm going to go Bills here. I'd say the smarter bet here would be Bills money line because 9.5 is a lot to how the Bills played last week, dude. The Bills fumbled the ball, dude. They fumbled the bag. They gave it to the New York Jets. They gave you the win. Oh, home opener at 9/11 in New York will give you the opener there. It was sick, dude. But I'm going to go Bills. I'm going to go money line Bills. 47 is the over-under. I'm going to go with the over on this one. But I think Josh Allen is due for a big game. 4 touchdowns, no turnovers for Josh Allen. And the Bills roll 1-1 over the trash Las Vegas Raiders. And then we got the Baltimore Ravens versus the Cincinnati Bengals. Look, this is a classic matchup. We saw last week the Bengals come out trash. Joe Burrow only 82 yards. That's crazy. I expect Joe Burrow to have a bounce-back game as well. But I'm still going to go Baltimore Ravens. And the Ravens didn't need to have that good of a game. They played the trash Houston Texans. But I'm looking at Lamar Jackson. This is a huge year for Lamar. He got paid this offseason. He's expected to really produce every single time he steps on the field for Baltimore and Coach Harbaugh. So I think Lamar, this is a huge year. You got OBJ, you got Flowers, you got a lot of good players now. So I think for Mark Andrews, so I think for the Ravens here, it's attack Cincinnati right now. Attack Joe Burrow. Obviously, Joe Burrow's not 100%. I think his calf is still messed up. I think they mishandled Joe Burrow's situation. Joe Burrow should have been sitting out the first 2 or 3 games of this season, dude. Waited till he was 100%. I think he was a little bit hard-headed and like, oh no, I'm not a punk. I'm not a sissy. I'm not a schoolgirl. I'm a dog. But at the end of the day, you got to think more long-term in the NFL. You got to think more towards the second half of the season into the playoffs, where it's just like, hey, the first 2 games we can afford to, fumble or whatnot. But, later on in the season, we need you 100%, dude. So, 80% right now, you gotta rest Joe Burrow. You got to, but I'm going to go Ravens with the upset, even though the Bengals are 3.5-point favorites. The Bengals have so many stars, right? You got Jamar Chase. He's due for a big game. T. Higgins had 0 yards last game, which is crazy rare. You got Joe Mixon. So a lot of talent on Cincinnati Bengals, but right now, they just don't have the mojo. They're just not clicking right now. They're just not in that zone. So I think overall, I like the Ravens here. Ravens by a field goal over the Cincinnati Bengals in Cincy. Go Lamar, go Baltimore. And then we got the Kansas City Chiefs versus the Jacksonville Jaguars. Another good matchup. Kansas City 3-point favorites. You got the number 1 quarterback in the NFL, and that's Patrick Mahomes. A lot of people want to say what they want about Mahomes. He's got that it factor. He's a Steph Curry of the NFL. He could do different stuff that no one's ever seen before, dude. More than dude, it's crazy. The way he scrambles and throws curveballs like a fastball pitcher. It's just dude, what the heck? How does Patrick Mahomes do that? How does he pull it out of his ass just to throw the ball 50 yards on 1 foot? It's crazy, dude. But shout out to Patrick Mahomes. But the X factor here yet again is Travis Kelce. He's questionable right now. If he's out, I'm gonna go Jacksonville, dude. Because you have to realize, Patrick Mahomes, dude, that's his guy. They're like Gronk and Tom Brady, dude. They need them. They're the dynamic duo. But the good news is for Kansas City, they signed Chris Jones to the 1-year deal. The great pass rusher that he is. That's huge news for Kansas City fans. That makes me want to go Kansas City here. But we're in Jacksonville, and I think Trevor Lawrence this year is going to have one of the best years of any NFL quarterback today right now. You know, Trevor Lawrence, he's got that it factor. He's got 2 touchdowns, 1 pick so far. ETN, you got Calvin Ridley, you got Christian Kirk, who I drafted late in my fantasy, which I expect him to have a big game. You know, you got Zay Jones. So I think the Jags are kind of really an underrated team here. A lot of people underestimate the Jacksonville Jaguars, especially offensively, where it's just like, dude, you got Trevor Lawrence here. You got ETN. You guys got some good players here around you. So let's see what it's about. Even though Chris Jones is back, if Travis Kelce is not starting, I'm going to go Jacksonville. Now, if Travis Kelce's playing and he's in the lineup, I'm definitely going Kansas City. I'll take the 3 points. It determines Travis Kelce. That's the difference there. 51 is the over-under. I'll go with the over. Definitely go with the over. I think both these teams like to score big points here with Trevor Lawrence and Patrick Mahomes, so I think that's going to be good. But Chris Jones, definitely a dog, dude. I'm telling you, they can win without Travis Kelce. I mean, they should have beat the Lions, you know, on the Thursday night opener, where it was just like a lot of the passes by Mahomes were dropped, dude. The receivers were dropping them, and it's just like, how, dude? Just terrible. It really is. Even without Travis Kelce, they should have won. Shoulda, coulda, woulda. But like I said, no Travis Kelce, I'm going Jags. With Travis Kelce, I'm going Kansas City. That's going to be a great game. And then we got the LA Chargers versus the Tennessee Titans. Tennessee Titans are washed up. You got Ryan Tannehill, quarterback. He threw for 3 picks. Derrick Henry's kind of declining right now. He had only 63 yards. I didn't get to draft Derrick Henry. If I did, I would have got him in the 3rd round. Whereas last year and a couple years before, Derrick Henry was a top 3 running back. So, I just think, Tennessee's kind of just overworking Derrick Henry. You're literally giving him 20-plus carries every single game for the past, 3 or 4 years. Obviously, those are going to catch up. I think Derrick Henry's probably going to get traded to, a playoff team, somebody who needs him on 3rd down, someone 3rd and short, just run it with Derrick Henry. But I'm going to go Chargers here. Now, I think this is one of my lock picks here, is definitely the LA Chargers. Justin Herbert didn't have that great of a game last weekend, only 1 touchdown against Miami. But the X factor for the Chargers is Austin Eckler. What a running back he is. I mean, for fantasy-wise, he's definitely a great running back. Him and Nick Chubb are definitely pound for pound 1 and 2, I believe. Austin Eckler, 117 yards rushing last week and a touchdown. I mean, great. I got Keenan Allen. He had 76 yards receiving. So I think LA is going to go into Tennessee and just run through them. This is one of my lock picks. I like the LA Chargers. I think Justin Herbert has a bounce-back game. He just didn't do well. I think, you're invested so much in this Justin Herbert dude who's 0-1 in the playoffs. He's got a lot to prove to me. Not just in the regular season. I'm talking when the big boys come out, when the big dogs come and play, and that's the playoffs. But I'm definitely going LA Chargers. 45 is the over-under. I'll probably lean more towards the over, but I definitely like the LA Chargers at 3 over the trash Tennessee Titans. And then we got the Green Bay Packers versus Atlanta Falcons. This is probably the game of the week here. This is definitely a coin flip, even though Green Bay's 2-point favorites. I just think Jordan Love, man, he looked good last weekend. He looked calm, composed in the pocket. He looked like he was really studying the playbook when when he was learning from Aaron Rodgers in his time there. So I think, he had 2 or 3 years to learn under Rodgers, dude. I think, Green Bay really capitalized on that. At the time, I was really upset because I thought, Aaron Rodgers, why? Why do you need a backup? But now it's coming into fruition where it's just like, dude, I'm telling you, Jordan Love, he's a dog, man. I expect big things from him. And then you got Aaron Jones. He's their go-to back. He can receive it. He can do all types of different things. Aaron Jones, I think, is another top 5 running back in fantasy as well, dude. He's so overlooked, but Green Bay's really nice. Now, on the flip side of Atlanta, you got Desmond Ridder. He had a touchdown. He looked pretty solid. But you got Robinson and Tyler Allinger, who's that dynamic running back duo as well, dude. I mean, I'm telling you, this game is so hard to decide, man. It really is. I mean, I don't know really who to pick here. I'm just going to flip a coin and call heads or tails. But right now, I'm leaning more towards Green Bay. I'll take Green Bay at 2, even though I think this game is going to come down to the wire. I can see it being an overtime game. But I think Jordan Love, that's the difference here. Him being just calm in the pocket. He doesn't pressure under, he doesn't panic under pressure when people are on him. I like that about Jordan Love. A lot of people were just like, who is this Jordan Love, dude? I understand it's just one game. But overall, man, he showed me a lot. He showed me that he's not afraid to take a hit, and he's not afraid to throw the ball down the field. So I'm going to go Green Bay in a close one. 40.5 is the over-under. I'll probably go with the over here. I think both sides have great running backs, and it's going to be a high-scoring running game. So a lot of play action as well. But I'm going to go Green Bay at 2. I just think even though Atlanta, I can see it being an upset, but I still like Green Bay over Atlanta Falcons. This is going to be one of the games of the week. I cannot wait. And then we got the Seattle Seahawks versus the Detroit Lions. Detroit is 6-point favorites. It's interesting. Last year, Detroit lost to Seattle to knock them out of the playoff contention last year. So you don't think Detroit remembers this? Absolutely. I'm going to go Detroit at 6. I really am. I think Jared Goff, they showed me a lot. Jared Goff, he is a nice quarterback. He's way better than Jimmy G. He's way better than trash Kirk Cousins, I'll tell you that. And then you got St. Brown. He's the X factor for Detroit's offense, dude. He's that guy to get you open at any time. You're going to have to double St. Brown. If not, he's going to torch you up. He's going to burn you, whoever you put on St. Brown one-on-one. I'm telling you right now. So shout out to St. Brown. Geno Smith, a quiet game last weekend. So is Kenneth Walker. On my fantasy squad, I want to see Kenneth Walker ball out this game, run over 100 rushing yards. That's what I want to see. You still got DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett. I think this game is close. I think the safer bet is definitely Detroit Lions money line. I think 6 is way too much right now. That's kind of sleeping on Seattle. Seattle's due for a big game, and Seattle's the team that beat Detroit Lions last year to get them out of the playoffs. So there's a lot of history here right now, but I'm still going to go the Detroit Lions and Jared Goff. Go Lions, start the season off 2-0. Who would have thought? 47 is the over-under. I'll probably lean more towards the under, but I like the Detroit Lions again. Back-to-back weeks. Take off Detroit Lions. Let's go. And then we got the New York Giants versus the Arizona Cardinals. The Giants are 5.5-point favorites, which they should be. I mean, the Arizona Cardinals, they're the worst team in the NFL. They just really are. So I'm going to go Giants. Daniel Jones threw for 2 picks last week against Dallas Cowboys, who have one of the best defenses in the league. So let's give him some leverage here, but he's still not a superstar quarterback. And then Barkley, he's due for a big game. I mean, got shut out, dude. They didn't even score any points on Dallas last weekend at home, dude. Dude, it was kind of embarrassing, but you got Arizona. I mean, you got James Conner. That's about it. I mean, their quarterback, Josh Dobbs, nobody's really heard of this guy. So, I just think overall, definitely go Giants here. But any given Sunday, anything can happen, dude. This is the NFL. Some crazy stuff has happened. I wouldn't be surprised if Arizona pulls up the upset, but I'm still going to go New York Giants over the trash Arizona Cardinals. Daniel Jones is going to have a bounce-back game, throw for a couple touchdowns finally. So I'm going to go Giants. 39.5 is the over-under. I'll probably go with the over. I think the Giants score 30-plus in this game over the trash Arizona Cardinals. And then we got the San Francisco 49ers versus the LA Rams. Look, San Francisco, this is a classic matchup, but San Francisco, they're 8-point favorites here, and they are legit. They have probably the best defense in the league. You got Fred Warner, Nick Bosa. I'm telling you, you got some freaking animals on that side, dude. I'm telling you. And then you got Christian McCaffrey, George Kittle. You got Brandon. You got Debo, dude. You got Brock Purdy, who's been playing nice recently, dude. Ever since the second half of last season, Brock Purdy's turned it up. He really has. 2 touchdowns last game. So I'm going to go 49ers. I'll take the 8 points, even though it's in L.A. Cooper Kupp's out. And I understand Matt Stafford had a pretty decent game last weekend. Showed me a lot. Kyron Williams, man, the ND ex-ND running back. Shout out to Kyron Williams. Had 2 touchdowns last week. First 2 touchdowns in NFL career. I mean, amazing. Shout out to Kyron Williams. I expect him to have another big game, but I'm still going to go San Francisco here. San Francisco has one of the best defenses in the league, and Brock Purdy is legit, dude. A lot of people slept on Brock Purdy. He was the last pick in the draft. Dude, it's crazy, man. Shout out to Brock Purdy in the 49ers. They are here to stay. Christian McCaffrey, I expect him to have a big game. And I expect my boy Debo to show out, ball out. Come on, Debo. He's on my fantasy squad. I expect him to just ball out over 100 yards, all-purpose, 150 all-purpose yards from Debo. And I got San Francisco all day in this matchup. 44.5 is the over-under. Probably lean more towards the under because I expect, the Rams to score maybe 10 points. And I got San Francisco to score 30-plus. So I like San Francisco over the L.A. Rams. And then we got the New York Jets versus the Dallas Cowboys. Cowboys are 8.5-point favorites. And you know what? I'm going to go Dallas. But I would love to see a Cinderella team like the New York Jets with Aaron Rodgers out with the Achilles tear. Zach Wilson stepping in. You got Breece Hall and Dalvin Cook, though. Those 2 running backs alone who are on my other fantasy squad. Shout out to Dunsey, my homie Dunsey. I'm telling you what, he told me to handicap these guys. Get both of the running backs. And it's really a smart decision because both of them get carries. Dalvin Cook last week got 13 carries, only 33 yards. Breece Hall had 127 yards with less carries. You're right around the same. So I think the Jets, if they stay in this game against the Cowboys, it's going to be through their run game and utilizing their play action here. You got to get the linebackers to bite. You got to get Micah Parsons to bite. You got to get their safeties and their cornerbacks like Diggs to bite here. So I think, overall, I think this game's going to be a little bit closer than what the experts are saying here, but I'm still going to go Dallas here. Dak Prescott, like I said, it's still the same Dak Prescott. Come playoff time, he's going to find a way to lose the game and drop the bag yet again. Tony Pollard had 2 touchdowns last week. The run game's there. CeeDee Lamb, Micah Parsons. I'm telling you, Dallas is legit. So I'm going to go Dallas at home over the Jets. Jets are wounded right now. But I'm telling you, Cinderella would be the Jets are going to upset them, right? But I'm still going to go Dallas at home over the Jets. They're wounded right now. Aaron Rodgers, all that hype, right? The Hard Knocks, everything that the New York Jets were preaching about all offseason. We got Aaron Rodgers. We got a Super Bowl chance. Well, that fell through in 4 plays, dude. So I think, like I said, Aaron Rodgers will be back next year. I truly believe that. When people say Aaron Rodgers is done, no, he's not done. Aaron Rodgers will be back next year. Mark my words. But I'm going Dallas. I'll take the 8.5, even though the safer pick is moneyline Dallas. But I'll take the 8.5. 39.5 is the over-under. I'll probably go with the over, but I love the Cowboys at home playing the Jets, who are wounded. And then we got the Washington Commanders versus the Denver Broncos. Broncos are 3.5-point favorites. I'm telling you what, this game, dude, I'm going to go with the upset here. I'm going to go Washington Commanders. What I saw from Sam Howell last weekend, really calm and composed in the pocket. 1-0 as a starter, even though he had 1 touchdown and 1 pick. He's still got some talent around him. You got Dotson. He had 5 receptions last week for 40 yards. You got Brian Robinson Jr., who's due for a big game. So I think the Washington Commanders can really beat Denver and Denver. Why? Because I just don't believe in Russell Wilson anymore. I just don't. I want to believe in Russell Wilson. He seems like a nice, genuine guy, believes in God. But overall, right now, I just don't see the ambition. I don't see the hunger in Russell Wilson anymore. I just don't, dude. Like, when he's warming up, I just don't see the old Russell Wilson in Seattle anymore. I just don't. Sean Payton, where, yes, he can turn this program around. This is a huge game for Coach Sean Payton here. If Denver wants to make the playoffs this year, they have to win this game. If they lose this game to the Washington Commanders, you can safely say the Denver Broncos will miss the playoffs this year, starting off 0-2 yet again. They're 3.5-point favorites at home. 38 is the over-under, but I'm still going to go Washington Commanders here with the upset here. I'm going to go them. I think Sam Howell's going to have a big game, better than Russell Wilson, and I think it's going to be close, but I'm going Washington Commanders over the Denver Broncos. 38 is the over-under. I probably lean more towards the over here. I really would. I think Washington can put up some numbers here. So can Denver and Russell Wilson, but like I said, Russell Wilson has kind of fallen off for me. The hunger, the ambition, the love, the passion of football is gone, dude. I just don't see it in him anymore. And I think Coach Sean Payton's going to realize that halfway through the season and bench Russell Wilson eventually. But I like Washington Commanders over the Denver Broncos. And then we got the Miami Dolphins versus the New England Patriots on Sunday Night Football. I can't wait for this matchup. Miami's 2.5-point favorites, and obviously I'm going Miami here. I got 2 on my fantasy squad, put up over 400 yards last weekend, dude. What a time, man. I mean, what? And I got 2 in the 9th round. Everybody slept on Tua, always 1 hit away. So is a lot of NFL players are 1 hit away. But Tyreek Hill, he's the X factor for Miami and any team. Nobody can guard Tyreek Hill. If you're 1-on-1 against Tyreek Hill, it's bye-bye. That's why they call him cheetah, dude. He's going to take off. You're not going to be able to guard him. You're just not. It's impossible to guard Tyreek Hill. The only way you could guard him is stay off 15, 20 yards, and he's going to catch a 5-yard slant and run it for another 5 to 10, 15 yards. So there really is no guarding Tyreek Hill. You can try to contain him, but you're not going to do it. You're just not. So I'm going to go Miami, and I just don't believe in Mac Jones. I just never have ever since Mac Jones got there with Coach Bill Belichick. I don't know what Coach Bill Belichick sees in Mac Jones, but right now he's starting to realize, well, I mean, what? We missed the playoffs last year. What? Is it going to be the same result again? Ever since the GOAT Tom Brady left New England, they just fell off. They just really did. And Mac Jones is not the guy. He's just not. They got a good running game, but overall, dude, the New England Patriots offense is terrible now. It really is, dude. So I'm going to go Miami all day on Sunday Night Football. 46.5 is the over-under. I'll probably go with the under, even though I think Miami can score in the high 30s. I really do. I just don't see much of New England right now. I just don't. Yes, it's on Sunday Night Football. Bill Belichick, a great Hall of Famer coach that he is, but his boy Tom is gone. So that is over with. Got rid of Bailey Zappi, then brought him back. I think they need to start Bailey Zappi eventually, dude. Mac Jones, He's kind of just an average quarterback. He's another Kirk Cousins back there. Just an average quarterback. But I'm going to go Miami at 2.5 all day. Miami all day. Tua's going to have another big game, put up some crazy fantasy numbers. Shout out to Tua. Shout out to the Miami Dolphins. And then we got 2 Monday Night Football games. We got the New Orleans Saints versus the Carolina Panthers. Look, this is a classic matchup. I'm going to go Saints here at 3. Why am I going Saints? I'm betting on the better quarterback, and that's Derek Carr. He's the best quarterback in that division. That's why I said preseason I'm taking the New Orleans Saints out of their division. He's just a better quarterback than Baker Mayfield. He's a better quarterback than Bryce Young, dude. He just is. He's the best quarterback. That's why I'm going the Saints. You got Jamal Williams, who I picked up in my fantasy squad late. I expect him to have a big rushing game as well. But I just think Bryce Young, he's still young. Even I understand last name Young, but I really do think Bryce Young has a big learning curve to learn from. He really does. Kind of reminds me of a young Russell Wilson when he was hungry, but I just think Bryce Young right now still learning the offense, still learning the NFL, the speed, everything. Yes, you got Miles Sanders. You got Hayden Hurst, who had a touchdown last week. But I think I like the Saints here. I do. Derek Carr, I expect him to have a big game here. 3+ touchdowns from Derek Carr. It's all New Orleans Saints over the Carolina Panthers on Monday Night Football. 40 is the over-under. I'll probably go with the over. I expect the Saints to score a lot of points with Derek Carr here. Derek Carr, throw the ball down the field. Take chances on Monday Night Football against Carolina. You're 1-0. Let's go 2-0. I like the Saints over the Carolina Panthers. And then we got the Cleveland Browns versus the Pittsburgh Steelers. Cleveland Browns are 2.5-point favorites here. Look, Cleveland, what we saw last week, dude, their defense stepped up, forced Joe Burrow to 82 yards. Like, only 3 points. I mean, that is crazy. So, we got to give respect to the Cleveland Browns for once. Deshaun Watson staying out of the massage parlor. Shout out to Deshaun Watson, keeping his head on straight. He had 1 touchdown, 1 pick last week. Nick Chubb on my fantasy squad, probably the pound for pound, the number 1 running back, dude. Consistently gets 15 to 20 carries. Consistently gets 90-plus yards a game. I love Nick Chubb. Everything Nick Chubb does in fantasy, he gets you big numbers. Shout out to Nick Chubb. I expect him to have a big game. Whereas Pittsburgh, Kenny Pickett, 2 picks, only a touchdown last week. So I think Kenny Pickett's going to have a bounce-back game here. And I'm going to go Pittsburgh at home on Monday Night Football. I think Coach Tomlin has them ready. And I think, TJ Watt, he's their X factor defensively. He sets the tone. 5 solo tackles last weekend and 3 sacks, dude, and 2 forced fumbles. I mean, they paid him big money, and TJ Watt deserves that. TJ Watt is one of the best defenders in the NFL. He's a top 5, in the top 5 candidates of best defenders right now. Absolutely. So shout out to TJ Watt. I expect him to have a big game. I expect George Pickens to ball out. And I expect Najee Harris to finally get going here. Ever since Najee Harris came in Pittsburgh, kind of been quiet. I understand he's from Alabama. Alabama produces great running backs. But overall, I expect him to have a big Monday Night Football game. So I'm going to go with the upset here. I'm going to go Pittsburgh Steelers over the Cleveland Browns. It's going to be a close one, but I think Coach Mike Tomlin has the Cleveland Browns number, and I think Kenny Pickett is due for a big game. So I'm going to go Pittsburgh over the Cleveland Browns. 39.5 is the over-under. I'll probably lean more towards the under. I think it's going to be a little bit low scoring. But I think Kenny Pickett, man, he's due right now. Everybody's trusting you, Kenny Pickett. So I think he's kind of feeling the pressure. But it's Monday Night Football. You're playing at home. You're playing against the Browns, who are pretty good this year. They're good defensively. But I definitely like the Pittsburgh Steelers over the Cleveland Browns on Monday Night Football. But what a time for the NFL Week 2. Big games. I cannot wait. But obviously, my lock pick all weekend, it doesn't mean I'm going to hit, but I'm definitely confident in it. And that's the LA Chargers over the Tennessee Titans. I definitely like that pick. I'm telling you. And I like the 49ers over the Rams. But a little parlay. Parlays are tough, but a 4-game parlay. I definitely like the Colts. I like the Philadelphia Eagles. I like the 49ers, and I like the Chargers in a 4-game parlay. But in NFL, any given Sunday, anything can happen, so I cannot wait. So take off to my Indianapolis Colts, finally getting their first dub over the trash Houston Texans. I cannot wait. It's the NFL, baby. It's the Clown with Cab show. Let's go!